This right here is everything that's wrong with CIG. Guys, welcome to the channel, and as always, if you enjoy the content and my perspective on this, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, whatever it is you want to share, more than welcome to read it. Even the name itself, Star Citizen Live QA Invictus Vehicle Gameplay. What gameplay is vehicles? I mean, what is it that you play with, buy a new vehicle? That's what they focus on, but that's not really a gameplay. Yeah, you can go check it out, look at it. The ironclad looks very pretty, very nice. What the hell would you do with it? Even if you could buy it tomorrow for 50 bucks instead of the 600 they will probably cost. What is that you do with it? You move a box? You travel around and load it up? Yeah, it is cool that the bridge detaches in a separate ship. All great, but let's get into this and see all of the issues that are so obvious.
I'm sorry, I got somebody in chat, Suburbanite 1001 says, I've lost all excitement for this game just about a decade ago. But he's still here.
It's a different game.
Thanks for hanging in there.
I won't waste your time over an hour wasted. This is the more interesting part, and it started with this. Yeah, you know what? They mock us. They laugh. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? You've been hanging out for 12 years, and you now realize how boring this is getting? Instead of mocking the guy, have some fucking humility. Have some fucking respect for the guy that is still here, still believing that, you know what? Yes, right now it's terribly boring. Right now you destroyed the core of Star Citizen, which is flying ships and combat. You destroyed that. We still are here because we believe that there is a little bit of a chance, a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and you will reconsider what you're doing. And once you see people either give up or funds start to drop, people buying less ships, we still have the hope that you will recalibrate this madness that is called Master Modes, and we will have something that is fun. With Master Modes, this game dies because it is fucking boring, okay? That's what the guy is telling you, and yet they laugh at him. All right, okay.
Suburbanite, just... listen, more...
Why are you laughing at your backers, at your clients? You know, that is...
Okay, so here's a question, Elliot. Would you please make a clear distinction between vehicle-based combat missions and FPS ones? Is that something we even want to do? Do we want to mix them up? They're asking for it.
No, I won't. No, I'm joking. We're gonna add in the future when we redo the contract manager app. We're gonna add a sort of section where you can see the sort of gameplay you're going to encounter. So it'd say things like, maybe you need a multi-tool. Maybe you're gonna come up against. Maybe you're gonna need like FPS weapons. Maybe you're gonna need a powerful ship. There'll be like a section where you can see what it is. And the reason that we don't currently make a distinction between the two is because the idea is that in the future, like, your bounty that you're hunting might be above like a bunker, but then he might land and go inside, and then you've got to infiltrate and...
You laugh at the guy that says he's disappointed after 12 years, and then you have this shit? Really? With the AI that you have, you're going to tell me that you're going to have an enemy that lands his ship and runs into the bunker? You cannot even get the guy that shows up, the NPCs that show up in the cutlass to disembark the ship. They still sit there waiting to be shot a year later, and you're telling me that he's going to run down into the bunker? Okay.
Fight them.
All right.
There's a whole bunch of different things that we want to happen, so therefore we don't want to make a clear distinction when there might be why there might be none. You might get there, start attacking them, and then they get in their ship and take off, and you've got to transition from ground to space-based combat. There's
too clear
potential for change.
We don't want to make too clear a distinction.
Yeah, exactly.
I like what you're saying. It's like we could give you expectations. The mission giver expects it to be primarily this or primarily that, but yeah. I think it's important to leave room for the element of surprise, not just from the story of your mission team and the narrative and stuff, but the surprises of the other backers, the other players in the verse.
Exactly. It takes like influence from real life. You know, you take a job and they're like, hey, this is what you're applying for. You're only going to do this. And 90% of the time you start and you're like, they give you so much other shit to do at the same time. So
no, I think that's good. I think that's a reasonable expectation, and I think it'll help people a lot. You know, we expect it to be primarily this, but the verse is the verse.
And no hand holding.
No hand holding.
No hand holding.
No hand holding, but master modes because you don't want people to develop skills, so you want to be more inclusive. Which one is it? Are you going to be more inclusive of people that don't want to learn how to fly a ship in the game? Or are you saying no hand holding? Make up your mind.
Why nerf a call to arms payout when it was already so meager? Which mission is call to arms? What am I?
It's internally it's called Sandbox Criminal.
He doesn't know what call to arms is. Of course. You know what? Because he laughs at the guy that says it's boring, but he obviously does not even play the game.
Kills. It's the one that just gives you money for killing people with crime stats.
Right. Okay.
Players seem to always just want money.
Oh yes, greedy players. They want to have the only progression that you have in game, which is making money. They want to make that. Yeah. Oh, players are terrible.
So I know, right? We are reactive. We try to be reactive with missions. So we look at them and we see if they're earning too much and they're earning way too much than we like. We
$500. That was too much.
Take it back a bit. But now we have the economy team. They're actually helping with this. So they've actually rebalanced this again. So hopefully for the next patch, you'll see a change in the call to arms payment, because before call to arms was literally balanced by the mission team. And balancing UEC for our economy, obviously the reason we have a dedicated team is because it's so big. Like a funny example, kind of funny, one of the big reasons that we had to wipe UEC is because of my team, and I'll take sole blame because I submitted it. I accidentally managed to make it so that people had earned 4 billion UEC just from salvage missions.
4 billion? Seriously? No matter how much you play, you were not making billions. Yes, you were making maybe a little bit too much, but it was not billions, man.
And the economy team, when they found out, wasn't very happy with me. But that's because numbers are absolutely insanity to try and balance. So,
Fierce Leaf and several people in chat are like, did you just ask what is call to arms? Yeah, sometimes when I'm on live internet and there's a bunch of lights and constantly running 5 different calculations on how not to say the wrong thing because people will take it to Reddit, sometimes I say the wrong thing.
No, you're good, man. You're not saying the wrong thing. You're just not playing the game, which is fine. We're almost there. We're almost giving up hope. Many of us are kind of there, kind of about to give up. We still think there's hope. We still think that, personally, I think that once enough people stop playing, which you see all the time, and once you see those ship sales go down, then you will do the right thing. That is my hope. That's why we're still here, a lot of us, right? But we don't blame you for not obviously playing. You don't know what call to arms is. It's like 4 fucking missions. It's been years since there's been nothing new. The only new thing recently was that the dog, pest control mission. Other than that, the illegal monitors, bounties, the call to arms thing, they go to the bunkers thing, deliver a box. It is 5-6 missions. You don't even know the names of those. That's obviously because you're not even playing it. And who can possibly blame you? No one blames you for not playing it. We get it. It's the business. And also clear that the people that believed that this was going to be something different, the really talented people, probably gone already.
And I forget what a thing is called.
No, you're good.
It happens.
You're good.
Thanks for worrying about me, though.
No one's worried.
All right, Yogi. You knew this was coming. How's Master Modes going? And what happens next? Will there be changes?
Oh, changes, yes, of course. I mean, the how is it doing right now? It's better than what we had in live on 3.2 before.
It is better based on what? Who told you it's better? some lunatic, some crazy person, it is not better. It is obviously a disaster. But you...
In terms of like how...
Every single telltale of someone that is lying, you will see this in this individual. That not even looking straight up to the camera or the person you're looking away, scratching. He has every single telltale of someone that is lying through his damn teeth. You know it, I know it, he knows it, we all know he's lying, and yet they persist with this.
How successful the change was so far, I think it's pretty positive. I mean, I can't exactly say exact numbers, but the relationships of kill-death ratios on our ships, for example, they have flattened out a lot. A lot of the times in the past, we always had 1 or 2 ships which basically were responsible for most of the kills in the game, and that's not the case anymore.
You know why? Because no one is doing it. Because it's now boring. And up until yesterday, you couldn't even do the low-risk missions. The entire idea of master modes was to make it easier, make it more arcadey for people that didn't have the skill to fly and do combat. But you balance it so, besides the fact that it is terrible, it was so poorly balanced that even someone skilled could not even do a low-risk mission. You got blown to pieces. They were always super accurate. The time to kill had been increased beyond logic, and you got destroyed by even the lowest. And besides that, you threw some of the largest ships in the low-risk missions. But now that it was somewhat balanced, now you can do it. It's just boring. That's why people are not even doing it, and that's why everything is leveled. Level as in no one is doing any kind of fun combat because it is boring.
We also have more players with, let's say, more diverse levels of flying and combat skills enjoying the game more. So I would count that as a win. But there is a huge amount of stuff that is on our list.
A more diverse skill enjoying the game more... Sure, everyone in Spectrum, even the White Knights that were saying that this was great, once they played it, it actually is shit, isn't it? Even the people that said, oh no, it's Master Modes, I played it, it's great. Then yeah, the more I played, the more I hate it. Yeah, this is actually terrible. Every single one that has any amount of intellectual honesty says it's terrible because it is. It is an arcadey, slow, horrible, boring mess, and they want to push this. They want to shove this down our throats because of their own reasons, because they want to make this a console game. They want to make it a console game that's going to be sold to Microsoft. And even that, they're doing it wrong, because even for a console game, it's boring. Master Modes is boring even for console. Even as an arcade game, it's boring. It is worse than ship combat in Starfield. That's what we're looking at here.
To do. There's like typical examples like ESP needs to be improved. The 1v1 dogfighting needs to be improved. There's also a couple of things we want to try out with the flight model, like using an egg-shaped velocity space to combat the backstrafing problem. Whether that works or not, we'll see. There's in general, we want to improve the combat distances a bit. There will be more stuff happening with the 4.0 tuning patch concerning weapon speeds that also might help with the distances. And there's a couple of bugs like the camera.
None of those things will change the fact that you're being forced to slow down when you engage in combat, and that is the part that is not fun. Being slow is not fun. Doing things in slow-mo is not fun. It is fun to go fast. It is fun to be dynamic, to be explosive, not to, well, yeah, we'll go in a turn-based combat system. Are you... Oh.
Shaking sometimes is inconsistent. The G4 zoom effects are sometimes inconsistent. And of course, there are like a couple of ships that feel out of whack. One of the Hornets can at the moment pull 35 Gs upwards. That is, of course, not intended.
Right, but when you go from nav to SCM and you bring down the landing gear and you magically slow down to nothing, that is okay. All right.
So yeah, there's lots of stuff. But as I said, like it's like overall, I'm pretty happy with the current progress. Is it the final state? Of course not. But there will be more stuff happening, especially with the with the resource network that will come towards, because of course these new feature sets also require some changes in the flight model or the way we target certain parts of the ships.
How about you, Rich?
Yeah, I said, I can echo, kind of Yogi's comments that, we're personally really happy with how it's gone. There's definitely going to be more changes. A big challenge for master modes for us in terms of release was just how much around master modes changed. So it wasn't just adding master modes to the game. This was fundamentally, making some big changes to the aiming system and the, kind of flight model itself as well. So we had a lot of changes going in that went just to master modes. This was quite hard to manage. But that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun in games working on this is,
Yeah, it's always fun when you make things slower, less agile, more unnatural, more inconvenient, changing modes, losing your shields, not being able to shoot. That's always fun in a video game, yeah.
We're always trying to improve things, always trying to change things for the better. And, we're going to carry on listening to the feedback from the players.
This is the shameless part. They don't listen, they don't care, and yet they tell you that they're listening to feedback. If you're listening to feedback, how can you possibly say that people are happy with this pile of shit?
And also looking at the data as well, because that's a big part for us is we need to back up what, we basically need to be accountable for what we're doing. So, any changes we make, we've got to be able to prove them that they're actually having the impact in the game that, that we intended. So that's going to be a big part of moving forward with the general balance. But yeah, there's going to be lots more. There's going to be lots more changes. We're going to fix up some of the ships because we definitely missed some of the ships. For various reasons. We changed a lot of ships, and there's some ships that inherit certain records from other ships. Sometimes that can catch us out a little bit. But we're basically working on identifying those ships, which we are in the process of doing, and we'll fix those up. And then we'll move towards 4.0 as well, where we basically expect another round of big changes to the balance as well.
So like any other feature, I mean, obviously since the PU first opened up in 2.0 back in December 2015, we're now in 2024. Obviously, there's not a single thing that's gone in that hasn't changed, that hasn't evolved, that hasn't continued to iterate since its first release. Master Modes is no different.
Yeah, it is different because it is worse. That's a big difference. You would expect that doing things in a professional manner, in a serious manner, you work on something, you develop it, you test it, you see if people like it, if people don't like it, you decide then to make a few changes, but you only incorporate those things that make the game better, not the things that make the game worse, right? But unless you have another agenda going on, that's usually what you do.
It will continue to evolve, it'll continue to iterate, they'll continue to look at your feedback and process your feedback and apply where they think it's necessary and relevant and proper.
They don't care, they don't listen, and they make you waste your time by telling them, hey, this is not working. What is it that they do when you tell them that it's awful, it is crap, Master Mode is terrible, it's making me want to quit the game? They just say, you're a fool for even being here, as he said when he started talking.
And of course, fixing all the bugs and stuff like that. Speaking of bugs, chat has been asking about the dupe bug. Yes, the dupe bug is super duper annoying.
Annoying for who? For who is it annoying?
I can tell you right now, because I'm sitting here live doing a show and I'm not plugged into everything else at the moment, is that we have a fix internally. It's working on internal builds, and that fix will go out in a point patch.
Okay, immediately they will fix any money bug that allows you to make a little bit more money. Guys, I won't waste an hour of your time with this. This is maybe the more significant part. The rest is waste of your time and mine, unfortunately. But why is it, just to answer to Jared, why is it we're still here? Because we still believe that there is a chance that you will eventually listen. You don't listen when we tell you that it sucks. Maybe you will listen when people eventually stop playing. I don't have any magic crystal ball here. I have no clue. But given how bad it is, I would not be surprised if people start saying, you know what? And based on what I hear, usually that's going to be very likely that people will say, right? And that reflects in less sales as well. Maybe then they will listen or not. Maybe they will just continue with this, and eventually we'll have to move on with our lives and go with something else, as much as unfortunate as it may be, given all of the potential we've seen, like the guy that's been hanging for 12 years that they laugh at. Well, maybe we'll be like him as well. Guys, that's going to be all for now. If you appreciate my approach to these things and calling it as it is, basically, subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Take care.